we need to talk about Kamala Harris. We need to talk about Kamala Harris. Not only is Kamala a cop, not only is Kamala right-wing as hell, but Kamala Harris is a cheater. She's a liar. So just think about when someone does their job, you want somebody who does their damn job. You're the DA, okay, well then you're the prosecutor. It all falls upon you to do your damn job. Well, she had this case with this guy called True Love. And this guy named True Love, well, he didn't do a damn thing except for he went on a reality-based TV show. And what did Kamala Harris do? Well, True Love never killed anybody. He's an innocent man. He's going to get $13 million. Jamal True Love is going to get $13 million. What for? Well, because Kamala Harris had wrongly convicted him. Kamala Harris wrongly convicted Jamal True Love of a murder. I want to say the 2007 shooting of his friend C.U. Kuka. Because it says here he's sentenced to 50 years in prison after he was framed by police for the 2000 shooting of his friend C.U. Kuka. So his friend gets shot, C.U. Kuka, and then he even talks about that's when the cops go crazy. Somebody gets shot up in the neighborhood where the cops are just, harassing anybody and everybody. So let's just talk about some of the facts, some of the key issues of this thing. So Kamala, well, she laughs at the guy, right? California man, wrongly convicted. Kamala Harris reveals her sickening taunt when he was found guilty. So Kamala's a brat. Oh, Kamala's a cheating, lying piece of shit. She just fingers somebody, says that's the guy, points to an innocent person. It doesn't matter. Points to an innocent person, scapegoats him. And then she only shows up twice. So this is her office, but she shows up for the conviction and then she shows up for the sentencing. Well, she wants the credit. She wants the headlines and the photographs and the pictures. So she doesn't know the damn truth at all, but it doesn't matter. She gets to play district attorney. She gets to play district attorney. And this is just like Ann Kelly. This is just like Marco Gonzalez, Louis T. Babcock. Louis T. Babcock is more interested in buying a bunch of Comcast stock than he is about justice. The end object of America, to establish justice. But these motherfuckers will establish injustice. People said this is equivalent to somebody about, dying or being 50 years in prison. Hey, no, you're guilty. No, you're guilty. You're guilty of murder. And then when he's sentenced or when he's convicted, he looks at Kamala and Kamala does her stupid bratty laugh. So her being a brat, her being a brat is, it's really nothing, right, in terms of policy and what it means. But when she's being a brat on some bullshit, on some lies, she's the fucking piece of shit. She's the one that fucked somebody over. And if Jamal True Love didn't get a good lawyer so he would sue the city and get his $13 million, he'd still be in jail. How many people are in jail right now that didn't get a lawyer, that never got, the truth never came out? And he's an actor, right? He was on The Summer of Love. No, he was on I Love New York too. He was on I Love New York. So New York didn't love him and now Kamala doesn't love him? This reminds me of in the very beginning of The Godfather. When the guy's like, I believe in America. If you ask the Godfather for a favor on the day of his daughter's wedding, he has to do it. And so on the day of his daughter's wedding, the very beginning, the guy's saying he believes in America, he made his fortune in America, but his daughter gets raped. And then they go to court, and he gets a lawyer, and then he gets away with it, like Alec Baldwin, right? There's no jury trial, he just walks away. And so the guy, asking the Godfather, a mafioso guy, a gangster, a hoodlum, he says, hey, will you commit murder? Will you kill this guy, this animal? And then this animal, he laughed at me. This animal, and he laughed. So not only did the guy rape his daughter, he wastes his time in court, and then the guy laughs at him. Aha! Nah, your daughter got raped. And nothing's going to happen. So now he's got to go to the gangsters. Now he's got to go to the hoodlum. When the fucking system doesn't give a shit about truth, love, peace, justice, when the system doesn't give a shit about doing their damn job, then you're letting the criminals get away with anything and everything. And then innocent people are going to jail. And then Alec Baldwin pays the damn lawyer, then you believe some stupid legal technicality. And then he walks scot-free. He don't even get a trial. We don't even examine. So he's the district attorney for San Francisco, Kamala Harris. So she shows up. She gets they lock eyes, and instead of just being like, hey, you're a handsome fellow, but ha ha ha, I just fucked you the fuck over. Ha 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 ha. That's not just bratty, that's wicked and shitty. That's being an animal. That animal, they laughed at me. 6 years in jail. So Jamal Truelove is going to spend 6 years in jail, 50-year sentence. So he got 6 years of his 50-year sentence, and then somehow he was able to get a lawyer, and he was able to get out, and he got a $13 million check. He could have been murdered. When the first day he goes to jail, there is a murder right in front of him. He could get murdered, raped, not only by the inmates, by the jailers themselves. People pretend like what? Only an inmate can do wrong? No, jailers can do wrong and inmates can do right. A jailer could be guilty and an inmate could be innocent. Anything could have happened to him while he was in jail. Nobody would have gave a flying fuck either. So they locked eyes. She laughs. And it's like she busted out laughing, right? Like, ha ha. She didn't point, but that's how it felt. Jamal Truelove, and who needs that shit? Be professional. If you're a seasoned veteran, be like Jerry Rice. You made a touchdown. You don't need to do the icky shuffle. You don't need to dance around and prance around. You don't need to be giggling and sniggling. You made a touchdown. You did your job. Now get back to the huddle and say, what's next? Let's make another touchdown. I've done this a million times. I don't need to have a celebration every time I get up and put my shoes on in the morning. So Jamal Truelove, he actually endorsed Harris in 2020. But then he said that he was going to vote for Trump in November. If you're wondering if I'll be voting for Kamala, laugh and lie Harris, fucking no, Jamal Truelove says. Jamal Truelove was acquitted in a 2015 retrial. 3 years after his exoneration, Jamal Truelove sued the police department and 4 officers, saying they fabricated evidence, coerced a key witness, and withheld vital information that may have exonerated Jamal Truelove. So what the fuck? Think about being Jamal Truelove. He's sitting at home, fucking playing his PlayStation. 4 goons, 4 hoodlums, 4 lying, thieving, murdering, wicked people. 4 wicked people kidnap him. And Kamala Harris gets to play the DA. Right? Once you kidnap the body, then you can be like, well, I get to hit your body and keep your body and prosecute your body. Oh, you got the conviction? I just convicted an innocent man, everybody. I'm such a brat. I'm such a brat. Truelove sued the police department of 4 officers, saying that they fabricated evidence. So 4 hoodlums, 4 criminals who's wearing badges, who's wearing a uniform. Not only did they coerce the eyewitness and withhold vital information, they said that he didn't even get interviewed. The cops didn't even talk to him. They didn't even interview him, talk to him, try to find out what he knew, what he didn't know. They set him up on some trumped up bullshit with fabricated evidence. Federal jury, of course, the states can't be. It's got to go to the feds. A federal jury determined the 2 lead homicide detectives had violated Jamal Truelove's civil rights and awarded him $14.5 million. He accepted $13.1 million offer in exchange for the city's dropping of its appeal. So Jamal Truelove accepted $13 million. The city said drop the appeal. So instead of the jury cleared 2 other officers of wrongdoing. So whoops. They violated his civil rights, huh? 2 lead homicide detectives. Whoopsie daisy. And then, in a way, well, we want to talk about, who actually did kill, where's the real killers at? Who actually killed Siu Kuka? Who killed Kuka? Does anybody know who killed Kuka? Because in a good and honest, decent world, the people who murdered the person is the one that goes to jail. The people that actually pulled the trigger. The people that actually snuffed out the life of somebody else. Che Guevara says that every life matters. To the point of every life is valuable, more valuable than all the property of the richest man out here. I feel like for every dead Palestinian baby, every Palestinian baby that's killed, we should bankrupt the richest billionaire and just keep on bankrupting the billionaires until we stop financing the genocide of Jesus Christ. How many innocents? How many massacre of the innocents? Jesus is a Palestinian. Jesus came out of Bethlehem. How many innocents are we killing? Herod and Pharaoh, they ordered a massacre of the innocents, and that's where Moses and Jesus, they were born out of the massacre. They were born in blood. They came out of the massacre of the innocents. How many Jesuses and Moseses are being killed, and how many Jesuses and Moseses are being created right now? So nobody's been convicted, it says, of Kuka's murder since Jamal Trulov's acquittal. The 4 officers named in Jamal Trulov's lawsuit have retired. Evidence was produced showing that the detectives were aware of another suspect who they did not investigate. Did you know that it was possible that this other person, yeah. Did you investigate him? Nope, I sure didn't. Well, hell, that's just like Keith Schultz and Kenny Capin. That's just like Soto Cruz and Troy Zinn. They're not going to investigate their buddies. Their buddy's a criminal, and they need their criminal for the eyes and ears, and then the criminal needs the cops. So you got this Faustian relationship. Faustian. Jamal Trulove said before his conviction he hoped that Kamala Harris would show leniency towards him because of her background, right? She's the first black attorney. People in the projects knew who she was. She's the first black district attorney. And we thought we had a black district attorney in office that was from Oakland and that they would be for us, that they would care about the truth and love and justice. We thought that she would be more favorable to us. Instead, it was the opposite. She used their vote. She used their support. Once she got the power, she turned right around and fucked them the fuck over. Oh my God, if that's not the SLV, I don't know what is. The SLV still has murderers and people just shooting everybody up over there. Arsons, people shooting everybody up, sex crimes. However, Harris's time as a prosecutor has been criticized by those on the left as unduly harsh. Law professor Laura Bazelon, former director of the Loyola Law School Project for the Innocent in Los Angeles, said in the New York Times that Kamala Harris wasn't a progressive prosecutor. She was regressive. She wanted to go backwards. It doesn't matter for the rich and the wealthy. They just want somebody thrown in jail. It doesn't matter who you throw in jail. This person got killed, so just throw person A, kill person B. Well, throw person C in jail. Who cares if it doesn't make logical sense? We're not rational animals. We're just a bunch of animals. Most troubling, Kamala Harris fought tooth and nail to uphold wrongful convictions that had been secured through official misconduct, including evidence tampering, false testimony, suppression of crucial information by prosecutors. Meanwhile, as California's Attorney General, Kamala Harris successfully defended the death penalty in court despite a past crusade against it. As a new senator, she proposed to abolish cash bail reversal, a reversal from when she chided San Francisco judges for making it cheaper to commit crimes by setting bail amounts too low. During her career in law enforcement, Kamala Harris was a pragmatic prosecutor who successfully took on predators, said the spokesman, and fraudsters and cheaters like Donald Trump. That's what James Singer said of her record. This is from the Daily Mail. Her rise in Democratic politics began in California's courtrooms. Voters elected her first as San Francisco's district attorney, then as California's attorney general. Well, she fucked over that one black guy in San Francisco. Why not give her the power for the whole damn state of California? Why not give her the whole power for all of America? Who gives a shit if she's a liar? Who cares if she makes shit up? She's for defund the police, and she's a cop. Meanwhile, the guy who's the thin blue line guy has got 34 fucking felonies. What the fuck is going on? Like, what the fuck is going on? People are speaking out of both ends of their goddamn mouth. Nobody knows what's going on, and nobody gives a shit. Well, a couple poor people got shot up, and then a couple poor people got arrested and prosecuted by Kamala Harris. Who gives a damn? As long as I can do my little voting As long as I can do my fishing and my boating, I don't give a damn. Bunch of oligarchs and plutocrats, you gotta break some eggs in order to make an omelet. You didn't find the real killer, but you at least punished the community. It says here that she also oversaw the wrongful conviction of someone who was later stabbed in prison. Was that him or somebody else? He got fucking stabbed? So then that's her fault too. This is bullshit though. This is such fucking bullshit. For 6 years he had to endure this shit. He's getting a criminology. He's getting a PhD in criminology. You think going to jail for 6 years for an innocent person, you think it's going to help that person? He's going to meet rapists and drug dealers and a whole bunch of fucking terrible people doing terrible shit. Somebody got murdered when he goes in, and then either he got stabbed or we're talking about somebody else she threw in jail who was innocent. As the state's lawyer, she refused to defend California's gay marriage ban. So it's all right. Did the opposite on the death penalty. Actor Jamal Truelove was a contestant on VH1's I Love New York 2, a bachelor-style dating show in which 20 men competed for the affections of a failed reality show contestant. We all know who New York is. She is an asshole. A total asshole. Why don't we just make New York goddamn president? You know, who gives a shit? If who happened to have witnessed the fatal July 2007 shooting at San Francisco's Sunnydale housing project, saw the show and told the police she was convinced Jamal Truelove, she said, was the shooter. Oh, she watched a TV show. You're telling me that a murderer who killed the guy's friend is going to go on the TV show? And that this is so ridiculous. The witness, Priscilla Lualamanga, Manga had initially identified a different man as the shooter. Oh, it was this guy. Now it's person A. Are you sure it might have been person B? And then the police show a photo lineup, but not a lineup. They just say, hey, is it Jamal Truelove? Is this the guy? Mm-hmm. They didn't have like 5 other pictures, and they didn't pull the lineup the people actually in. Lua Lamenga said Jamal Truelove looks like the guy who could have shot the victim, but then after the show aired, she said she was certain. Are you certain? No. I said, are you certain? Uh-huh. Did he do it or didn't he do it? It kind of looks like him. I mean, I'm not for sure. You're not sure. No, it's definitely him. I know for sure. He's going to get stabbed. He's going to watch a murder. 6 fucking years. I don't know if it was Patrick Henry, but he said something about it doesn't matter if 99 guilty people walk free as long as we don't even throw one innocent person in jail. You know how much of a fucking travesty of justice that is? You threw an innocent person in jail? I think Kamala Harris should go to jail for shit like that. She should be punished for shit like that. Just doing a bratty laugh and wears fancy clothes and fancy jets. The DA's office put both Lualamanga, and her sister in witness protection, citing alleged threats. The jury convicted Jamal Truelove of first-degree murder. There was deliberation. It wasn't just something that happened. And then he's sentenced to 50 years to life. But on appeal, a ballistics expert had testified that the main witness, Priscilla, we'll just call her Priscilla, it's Lualamanga. Priscilla, the only eyewitness to testify that Jamal Truelove was even at the scene, could not have observed the shooting from the direction she was facing given the round's trajectory. The person is shot this way, blood spatter report, ballistics experts. She's over there behind the damn garage. She's there behind the dumpster. And it's 1,000 feet away. How could she have actually seen his face, knowing it was him that did it? The bullet said that the person had their back turned towards him. So how could she have seen a person with their back turned towards them? The lineup, they only gave her one picture with the lineup. She thought it was him and then later on became certain of it. Well, which the fuck is it? You're certain when you come in. But a lot of times the cops want to just fuck somebody over and then there's another suspect. Should we interview Robert Pickerel? Maybe this Pickerel is goddamn criminal motherfucker, huh? Well, Sam Jepson was taking shots. Maybe it's Sam Jepson. Should we interview him? No, he's a right-wing sovereign Nazi. Ann Kelly and Michael Gonzalez are not going, they're going to protect the Nazis. And hell, so is goddamn fucking Jared Polis. Jared Polis protects the Nazis in southern Colorado. Going so far as to urge the jury to have the same courage as Priscilla, find the defendant guilty, wrote appellate court judges. There was no evidence of any threats or actual danger presented by the defendant, his friends, or family to Priscilla or her family. So they're like, well, we had to put her in eyewitness protection. Did ya? Or are you just sitting there making all this shit up and putting on a scene, making a scene after the fact? We had to have lockdown. We had to have locked down the whole thing. Could not have observed the shooting from the direction she was facing. So it makes me feel like it's that one, my cousin Vinny, right? It was like, hey, how many fingers am I holding up? 3. You couldn't even see how far were you. You saw through your dirty window. There was no evidence of any threats or actual danger presented by the defendant, his friends, or family in Lualamanga or her family. Jamal Truelove was acquitted March 2015 and went on to role in the film The Last Black Man in San Francisco. Federal lawsuit he filed after his release, noting he was stabbed in prison. He was stabbed when he failed to give his cell's bottom bunk to a gang leader. Hey, why don't you give that guy to a gang leader? No. Well, here's a stabbing. It cost the city and the county of San Francisco $13 million. I guess it would have been convenient for Jamal Truelove to have been murdered. Yeah, that's what these criminal motherfuckers do. In a new podcast interview, he recounted his conviction. Kamala Harris should see charges. She should go to jail for at least a day. It's like Donald Trump being convicted of 34 felonies, and he's not even going to go to the jail for a day. Then the word felony has no meaning. Kamala Harris laughed in his face. Ha ha, fucked you over, innocent man. You're an innocent man, and I just fucked you over just like New York did. We don't need New York running the country. We need good, serious people who cares about the truth. You can't get justice if you don't know the fucking truth. Get to the bottom of things. Ask questions. Try to figure out the truth. And once you know the truth, then go with what you know. But just to say, well, he was fucking arrested and it's my job to defend the fucking criminal cops and the fuck over the innocent civilians, you don't understand justice. You don't understand right or wrong. She literally just kind of busted out laughing, said Jamal Truelove. He's endorsing Donald Trump, and you know what? I understand what he's saying. I mean, fucking shit. He fucking got stabbed because of her. Jamal Truelove almost saw it coming. He figured he might be arrested or spend some quality time with the police. His friend, it was his, Siu Kuka. So what? He talked to Kuka, saw Kuka the day before. Well, then it must be you. You're the last person to have seen him. I cared about Kuka. And then I, was playing PlayStation and Kuka got shot and robbed by some random person. One warm night in July 2007. And who killed Kuka? Jamal Truelove had made it out of the city's Sunnydale housing projects, his childhood home, where he had learned to record music and spent years selling CDs out of the trunk of his car. He's fucking getting his shit out the mud. He is a poor person doing whatever he can. He won an internet vote to appear on I Love New York 2, a reality show on VH1. Though he was kicked off on the first episode, he had done enough right to relocate to New York City, where he was trying to develop another reality TV project and advance his music career. So he got out of the ghetto. He got out of California. He's in New York. He got out of Sunnydale. But then he visited the mother of 2 of his children back in Seaside, California in October 2008, and his wrongful conviction nightmare began. For visiting his children, you want fathers to visit their children. You throw a father, an innocent father, in jail to get stabbed for 6 years? For 6 years, what was that mother and those 2 kids supposed to do? You want to talk about the family, the black family is destroyed? This is why the black family gets destroyed. He got into an argument with the kid's grandmother and the police were called. Jamal Truelove said the officers went from almost bored to wide-eyed and agitated after running his ID, reaching for their weapons, shouting at him to get on the ground. He recalled, oh man, whatever this is, I'll be out within 72 hours, the maximum length of time police can hold someone without charging them with a crime. Well, he did get into an argument with the kid's grandmother. Get down on the ground! You're not allowed to argue with a grandmother. Ran his ID, reached for the weapon, shouting on him, but rather than investigate, as the appellate court later found, San Francisco cops tasked with solving Kuka's murder worked to frame Jamal Truelove as the killer within hours of the shooting. Though 24 or more people saw Kuka die, only a single eyewitness agreed to talk to police. And though she failed to pick Jamal Truelove out of a series of photos and identified someone else by name, police eventually coerced her into fingering him, including shortly after his VH1 show aired in late 2007. An arrest warrant was issued the following year when a second person facing third strike felony charges told police that Jamal Truelove was a shooter. So a criminal said it was him. It was bad luck that he happened to have a run-in with law enforcement soon afterwards. Yeah, thanks, Grandma. Yeah, don't argue with her. But she was on some dumb bullshit bitching about, oh, do the dishes. Just like that one, do the dishes or I'll stab you in the heart. Could you imagine living with a person like that? You're not going to go anywhere if a person wants to stab you in the heart if you don't do the fucking dishes. But I've also heard the opposite. The father got something for having stinky feet and he got shot. Truelove was convicted and sentenced to 50 years to life. It's the closest thing to dying, he said. Jamal Truelove was transferred to jail in San Francisco, charged with first-degree murder, brought to trial in early 2010. Despite no physical evidence linking him to the crime and the fact that eyewitness testimony is notoriously unreliable, it's a eyewitness testimony. I'll say this. If I saw a person do it, and I know for a fucking fact that they fucking did it, Sam Jepson drives a green Blazer, that motherfucker shot at me. Robert Pickerel, he was in a fucking truck of a person that I think is Kenny Capin, but I know it's Pickerel. Noah fucking Spalding, he's taking shots at me. My fucking dog was murdered. I got shit that's on videotape, a big fat face fucking piece of shit. Ann Kelly saw the big fat face fucking piece of shit. They probably know who he is. They won't tell me a fucking thing because they don't care about real crimes. A cop arrests somebody, they get to play prosecutor. You bring them a pile of evidence and say this is the person, they're too fucking smart for you. They can't even see a pile of evidence pointing to crimes happening and they can't even make an arrest. I'm sick of these motherfuckers fucking over innocent people and letting the guilty go free. Why don't you actually enforce the fucking law? Jamal Truelove's story of wrongful conviction and eventual exoneration had been told before. He won $13.1 million, and he deserves every fucking penny from the city of San Antonio. Who is that lawyer? Get that lawyer a trophy. Because he actually stood up to the system and the damn courts and the judges. And you don't get good attorneys. A lot of times the attorney will take your fucking money and tell you to plea bargain out. He don't want to do his fucking job, do an investigation, go through a jury trial. But now one of the key players is making a serious run for the White House. And Jamal Truelove is anxious to tell his story again, this time including the role Kamala Harris played in it. He told Vice in his first ever interview about Kamala Harris and his wrongful prosecution. As a marijuana legalizing, supporting Trump trolling 2020 Democratic presidential candidate, Kamala Harris portrays her career in law enforcement, that of a progressive. How progressive, Kamala? You threw an innocent man in jail, you got him stabbed. How fucking progressive? You let the real killer get away? Fucking progressive. How did you didn't move things forward, you moved things backwards. An empathetic and thoughtful purveyor of help who addressed the root causes of crime rather than merely punishing the wrongdoers. Yeah, you really got to the heart of the matter there. You really saw the root of the troubles. Jamal Truelove's case is perhaps the most glaring contradiction in Kamala Harris's record. One critics like him say is littered with carceral, overkill she declines to acknowledge. Yeah, so why don't she apologize? Can Kamala Harris even say, yeah, I made a mistake, I'm sorry for fucking your life over? She don't spend a day in jail, she don't apologize. So these fucking white collar, these plexiglass white collar fucking criminals can fuck people over day in and day out, live in their fucking gated communities, and we're supposed to pretend that they're the good people? Back in 2007, when Kamala Harris was San Francisco's DA, the city's homicide rate hit a 14-year high. So he's got to look over his shoulder for a bunch of fucking people shooting people and the damn cops throwing innocent people in jail. 75% of the time, no suspect was ever arrested. 75% of the time. How is this progressive? This is not progressive in the slightest. We want the criminals to go to jail. We want the crimes to stop. Though she faced no serious opposition, was easily reelected that year, Kamala Harris arguably wasn't making enough cases to win over the more conservative voters she might need to make a play for statewide or national office in 2010. Yeah, for the rich, middle-class whites, she threw a bunch of black men in jail. So hell, they might love that. They might love that shit. That is the state they gave us Ronald Reagan. That may have served to make winning murder cases like the one. And they were opposed to gun control till the Black Panthers picked up a gun. According to Jamal Truelove, Harris was present at the hearings, announced the conviction, the verdict, the sentencing. She briefly locked eyes with him and laughed, offered what seemed like a smirk. Just laughed. Fucked you the fuck over, didn't I, innocent black man? Meanwhile, following more than a year in San Francisco County Jail, Truelove spent almost 5 years in state prison. On his very first day, he said he witnessed a fellow inmate's murder. Oh, great. I was an innocent man taking care of my children. Now I'm watching you motherfuckers let the fucking inmates kill each other. Fantastic. Then he's going to get shanked in the stomach in San Quentin, one of the most notorious prison in California's overcrowded penal archipelago, according to his successful civil suit against the city. What the fuck is she doing? What the fuck are we doing? Number one, for childhood obesity. Number one, for most people in prison. Being in prison for a crime he did not commit, for the murder of a friend. His friend, while he was visiting his children. This is Jamal Truelove's worst nightmare. He says it's the closest thing to dying. Jamal Truelove stayed sane by reminding himself he was innocent, staying focused on his appeal. Every year he stayed inside, he would tell himself, you know what, I'm going to go home next year. He said, constantly remind himself what he told the courtroom. I just didn't do it. I didn't do it. Seeing Kamala Harris's name on all his paperwork began to gnaw at him, though. Starting to feel personal. Even though she didn't prosecute the cases directly, when it came to sign off, it felt personal. Jamal Truelove's family hired Mark Zilfersmith, a Stanford-educated veteran appellate attorney. People don't like to say that they admit mistakes, even when the fucking mistake is apparent. You know you lied. You know you did the thing. Now say you're sorry. No, I won't. Huh. Well, how the fuck are we supposed to get justice, you piece of shit? You're supposed to be the good person? You're not the good person. He tracked down more witnesses who testified that Jamal Truelove wasn't the shooter and that the cops had done him wrong. One appeal in 2013 ended in a downgrade of his conviction, but maintained that the case was sound and the DA's office had the right man. Then in January 2014, the appellate court found prosecutorial misconduct and threw out Jamal Truelove's conviction, ordering a second trial. The state's case had hinged almost entirely on the testimony of the bogus compromised eyewitness. The jury found that detectives showed an eyewitness of a single photo of Jamal Truelove rather than presenting the person with photos of other people as part of a lineup to identify a suspect, as the AP reported after Truelove won his payout. The appellate court also found that Linda Allen, Kamala Harris's prosecutor in the case, had lied when she told Truelove's first jury that the eyewitness feared for her life for testifying against him in press reports following the conviction. Kamala Harris went on record praising the eyewitness's bravery. In the new trial, without a credible eyewitness and with police and prosecutors' misdeeds known, Jamal Truelove was acquitted. Such reversals are rare. Appeals courts upheld 81% of all felony convictions in 2010. A U.S. Justice Department review later found. Armed with the acquittal, Truelove sued to receive the big settlement last year. Most immediate response. Let's see here. You have the two homicide inspectors, Maureen D'Amico and Michael Johnson, found by a jury of a civil suit to have framed Jamal Truelove. They retired while Linda Allen is still employed and still prosecuting cases for the San Francisco District Attorney's Office. We make decisions based on presented evidence. The spokesman for the current DA, George Glasscone. The first jury found Jamal Truelove guilty based upon that evidence. His conviction was overturned, and the second jury found him not guilty. We respect the jury's decision and the subsequent rulings by the court. Yeah, you're a different district attorney. A lot of people can't admit when they make a mistake, and he could not say whether Harris was present at Truelove's proceedings or whether she had a personal hand. Meanwhile, Harris left San Francisco, continued leaping upwards. Jamal case isn't the only, problem with her fucking stint. In the New York Times op-ed published in January, University of San Francisco law professor Laura Bazelon said a lot of things she did. She would withhold exculpatory evidence, accused of fabricating testimony. My issue with Kamala Harris is the way she characterizes herself and her record. If she were just straightforward, it wouldn't be a problem, Laura Bazelon said. Other critics allege that Harris's slow-rolled investigations while covering for crooked prosecutors such as the Orange County DAs who planted snitches inside jails to coerce confessions. A federal Justice Department review later found clear civil rights violations. Kamala Harris did nothing, said Erwin Chemerinsky, dean of the UC Berkeley School of Law. Then Attorney General even defended the DA. A position which lost in the California Court of Appeal in a unanimous decision. I do not believe her role as California Attorney General can be described as being progressive. My issue with Harris is the way she characterizes herself and her record. If she was just straightforward, she was a regressive cop, an authoritarian fascist fuck. Cops would kidnap a person and she would do everything she can to fuck over the person that they just kidnapped. She didn't care about the truth. She didn't care about peace or justice. It didn't matter to her. She didn't want to find out the truth so that way the cuckoo could get some justice. We still got a dead body and we don't have the shooter in jail. A federal Justice Department review later found clear civil rights violations, but Kamala Harris did nothing, said Erwin Chemerinsky, dean of the UC Berkeley School of Law. The then Attorney General even defended the DA, a position which lost in the California Court of Appeal in a unanimous decision. He added, I do not believe that her role as California Attorney General can be described as being a prosecutor. Progressive. She was not progressive. So he says, when election year comes around, for some reason, they just notice a phenomenon. It doesn't matter if it's the mayor, district attorney, the president, or the attorney general. More people just start going to jail. Well, they got to be tough on crime. And since they want to have the illusion of being tough on crime, also if you throw Jamal Truelove in jail, well, now he's got a felony conviction. He can't vote. So it's perfect. You throw that person in jail. They can't vote. You don't have to worry about them voting for the other person. Unless they appeal and fucking 10 years later when you're running for president, then maybe they'll vote for the other person. So there's also cheap prison cheap prison. Well, there's some other shit with Kamala Harris. But we don't need that type of shit, man. We don't